Hopefully you can hear me in this. Okay. Hi, my name is Jessica, and this is my almost 2-year-old Reverie. And to give you a little background on Reverie, she was born at 25 weeks, weighing about 1 pound. And she was tube fed up until about 4 months ago, so up until she was about 1.5 years. We work with a speech therapist and an occupational therapist and a physical therapist on a regular basis, but she has something that is known as oral aversion. She does not eat solids. She is aversive to textures. We have a hard time gaining weight due to the fact that she will not eat solids. She never drank out of a bottle, aside from a few months in the NICU when she still maintained her sucking reflex, but after they hit about 6 months old, the sucking reflex that babies have turns from being a involuntary motion to a voluntary motion, and if that child does not enjoy eating or the sucking motion, then they will lose it. So she is unable to drink out of a straw or a sippy cup or a bottle or anything. So we use this device called the Arc Bear Cup. Basically, it's a sealed cup, and when you squeeze it, the fluid comes up out of the straw, and we feed her manually that way. It really does kind of suck because she has, it takes a good 45 minutes to an hour to feed her, and because she has a very sensitive gag reflex, sometimes you'll spend 45 minutes feeding her, and then that last little sip, whoop, comes all back up, and you got to start all over again. So that makes it really difficult for us and for her, you know, in the feeding process, because we want her to enjoy eating, which she doesn't. She has no hunger whatsoever. She could go 3 days without eating, and she would not be any different than the 3 days prior when she had food. She has no want for food whatsoever. I know that's hard for a lot of people to understand, like, oh, you know, your kid will eat when they're hungry. That's not the case with her. She could go 10 days and she still wouldn't be hungry. She still wouldn't eat. She would have to either be tube fed or manually feed her. So I just kind of wanted to make this blog, I guess, to kind of get the word out there so that people know more about it, because not a lot of people know anything about feeding aversion and have never even really heard of it, especially in a child her age. So she's had plenty of studies done. She's had a swallow study. She has an uncoordinated swallow, but she protects her airways so she doesn't aspirate. So we have been given the go-ahead to, you know, continue with her speech therapy and feeding her and everything. But it is a struggle every single day to get fluids and calories into her, as well as avoiding making her hate it anymore. Because if you go too fast, she hates it. If you go too slow, then she's sitting there in her chair forever. We have to use distraction techniques typically to get her to open her mouth and to be willing to accept the food. Like I'll show you here in a second, without her tablet trying to feed her versus getting her video up on her tablet and letting her watch that while we feed her. It's a complete difference. If she's distracted and she's not paying attention to the fact that she has to eat, she does perfectly fine. If she has to sit there with no distractions aside from a few toys, it's a struggle. So because she has a pretty severe texture aversion, we do staged 1 or 2 baby foods, which is nice that we can do. The problem is getting the calorie content in these foods as high as possible. Most baby foods, 4 ounces has about 30-40 calories. So we struggle to find, 4 ounce tubs or packages that are at least 80 calories or more and have iron and nutrients in them that she needs. So normally we either give her Pediasure or today she's stuffy, so we're avoiding milk products to avoid the flumminess, or we do Boost Freeze. It has 250 calories for every 8 ounces. She doesn't even have to drink anything and she's already gagging. But oh, thank you. I think the most frustrating part about this whole process is that she will put objects into her mouth on her own. Not food, just toys. But if you try to do it, it's no, get out of my face. So oh, thank you. That's saline. Can you take a bite from me? Can you take a bite? So this is typically the first 2 minutes of feeding. We get a aversive response of turning her head away, pushing our hands away. Typically once she actually gets food in her mouth and tastes it a little bit, she's a little bit more responsive. It's just that initial bite that is hard to get in, and then after that it becomes a little bit easier. Sometimes, not always. Take a bite. So it's nearly impossible to get anything into her if she's not distracted. Reverie, can you take a bite? So the only thing she's actually had today is about 200 mils of Boost, of the drink. She's had no food, just a little bit of fluids. Can you take a bite from me? Can you take a bite from me? How about we start with a little bit of sensory stimulation then? Come here. Hey. Hey, look, it's just a spoon. Just a spoon. Look. Hey, come here. It's okay. Okay, so now that you guys see that she has no distractions, watch the difference between no distractions and a distraction.
Don't worry, Mayor Goodway. No job's too small, no chicken's too fast. We'll save Chickaletta.
Really? Every time we feed her, we have to have the tablet charged and ready to go. I think it just helps her take her mind off of actually having to eat. Because she is pretty responsive to eating when she has a distraction. She does great with it. Oh, this is Plum Organics Grow Well Tummy because she's been constipated. Prune, pear, peach, and pumpkin with chia, and it has 100 calories. Only 1 gram of protein though.
Cool, Danny.
Bite.
What's up, Danny?
Actually, now it's Daring Danny. I mean, Daring Danny X.
Bite.
Extra daring.
Bite.
Mother, since you inspired me to jump over that car, I've decided to be the best car jumper over ever.
So it seems like we've tried everything. We've tried crackers and veggie sticks and everything under the face of the planet. a lot of what people don't understand is, oh, well, why don't you try and get her something that she likes to eat, like chocolate or something that tastes really yummy, and then she'll start to enjoy to eat. And what people don't understand is that it has nothing to do with that. Literally, you could put a piece of chocolate in her mouth versus vinegar, and it wouldn't matter. Both of them are disgusting to her. And it's more of, from what I've been described to as the feeling of chewing on sandpaper or chewing on aluminum foil. That's how it feels to have this oral aversion, or scratching your fingernails on a chalkboard. So this really is a daily struggle for not only us as parents, but for her, just to overcome these struggles. And if she's stuffy, it makes it even worse because she gets phlegm in the back of her throat, it initiates the gag reflex, and it all comes up. And there's only so many times a day we can handle throwing up without getting dehydrated or without losing weight because of, calorie intake is being lost. Or, if we've given her probiotics or Miralax to try and stop the constipation, which pretty much always comes when you have a diet of Pediasure or high calorie, low volume diets.